Welcome to Create Your Own Economy with Bunmi Ajibade, the podcast dedicated to empowering side hustlers, business owners, and entrepreneurs to create, grow, and scale their businesses. And each week, we'll take a deep dive into practical tips and strategies, insightful interviews, and inspiring stories to help guide you on your entrepreneurial journey. Whether you are starting a new business or you are scaling an existing one, this podcast is a go-to resource for practical tips and expert advice. Join us and start creating your own economy today. Are your employment contracts robust enough to protect your business interests? Have you safeguarded your business against potential lawsuits from dissatisfied customers? Do your contracts protect you from potential legal battles and disputes? Are you aware of legal requirements for online entrepreneurs? Hello and welcome. I am your host, Bunmi Ajibade. Today, we are discussing a crucial topic for online entrepreneurs: legal peace of mind. Protecting your business legally isn't an option because there's nothing like, "Oh, I didn't know." Today, my guest will make sure that you know, because it is essential that you are aware. So in this episode, my guest, Kristin Santamaria, will cover the vital legal protections you need, from intellectual property rights to data privacy laws and even solid contracts. Kristin, you are welcome to the Create Your Own Economy podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Bunmi. I've been so looking forward to joining you and just love everything you share on this podcast. I know it's so valuable for your listeners.
Thank you so much. You really, I know I was under the weather and we had to move it. And, I really appreciate you so much. Ensuring legal peace of mind for online entrepreneurs is really crucial for business success, so that, you are not guessing, am I doing the right thing, and trying to copy somebody's, what you think is the legal words and all that. So to be able to provide legal protection for entrepreneurs so that they can navigate some complex legal landscape is really very important. So let me give you a little information, little bio on Kristin. She is one of the two attorney co-founders of Dotted Lines. That's the name of their company, Dotted Lines. Herself and her BFF, Kelly, they coach online entrepreneurs so that they will be confident and have peace of mind with a comprehensive legal protection strategy. Kristin has over a decade of legal experience. She started her career at a large international law firm where she helped entrepreneurs ranging from small startups to Fortune 100 companies draft their contracts, form legal entities, and protect their businesses. She now loves serving the cause of coaches and online entrepreneurs through legal contracts, templates, and legal education so they can grow their reach and amplify their impact. There's some words I love to hear. Serve. We serve people. And so Kristin is one of us because she served people. She served coaches with her skill set, with her knowledge, so that we can do our own jobs, so that we can also amplify our impact. We are taking the guesswork out of what we do. That's why we have Kristin here today. So again, welcome to the Create Your Own Economy podcast. So, Kristin, what inspired you? Because you're already doing well where you are with an international law firm. So what inspired you to create your own economy, to start your own business?
Definitely. No, I love this question because I think so many people that are entrepreneurs, a lot of times we have interesting stories as to how we made it into the world of entrepreneurship. So for me, like you mentioned before, I worked for many years at this large law firm. And after several years of working there, I really ran into my own set of health issues, right? So my husband and I went through a really difficult kind of journey to have our second baby, went through a few really hard years of going through miscarriages, and just kind of made me reevaluate my life in a lot of different areas, puts a fine tune on kind of looking at what are we doing for our health, and what is my job looking like, and is that really supporting my family? But really what got me into it was this health journey. And I eventually kind of went through all of the conventional route of working with my doctor and just weren't having any success. So I decided to work with some health coaches. And through that, I also worked with a career coach at that time. I worked with another type of kind of emotional therapy coach at the time, and just really fell in love with the world of coaching and online entrepreneurs, and was very, interested in trying to help these entrepreneurs, like I mentioned, really get that confidence they need to pursue their business to the fullest. And I realized that a lot of them, weren't sure what they needed to protect their business. They didn't know what kind of contracts they needed. They didn't know if they were even allowed to be doing whatever it is they were doing. Wow. So, there was just a lot of lack of confidence in terms of pursuing their business, and just unsure of how to best protect themselves. A lot of them were kind of like me and had had a career before, and, wanted to make sure they had protected all of their savings, protected everything they had worked up, saved up for all of those years working in a more conventional job. So really just super happy that through Dotted Lines, we can serve, like you mentioned, we really do love serving all this industry. We work mostly with online coaches and a lot of just small business entrepreneurs, but just really want to give people that confidence and that peace of mind they need, which I think legal protection is a fantastic way to do that. Just to really pursue their business to the fullest. So that's really how we got started at Dotted Lines. And like you mentioned, I have a wonderful co-founder who's also my longtime best friend. We've practiced law together for many years. And she also works with a lot of entrepreneurs in her job of all different types of industries. She's also an attorney, like I mentioned. So we found Dotted Lines together, and it's just been so much fun. But we get so much satisfaction out of serving this group that helped me so much tremendously in my own journey. And Kelly's kind of had her own story too when it comes to working with health coaches as well.
Wow. So while you were in the, you had different coaches helping you on your journey, you are like, oh, I can also serve you. You identified their needs. That is the thing, identifying people's needs. And you found out that, wow, they helped me. I can also help them. And that is the thing. That is what entrepreneurship is all about. Identifying a need and really going there to solve whatever the need is. Wow. So what were the initial challenges that you found when you decided to start the business, and how did you overcome them?
Yes, I think that, for many of us, like I mentioned, I think most people that end up as entrepreneurs, you probably didn't anticipate that, coming at you, right? So there's all these different things you have to learn as soon as you start your own business, as you know, Bunmi, for everything from marketing to now you're keeping the books, now you're doing the entire business all on your own. So I think kind of just from our perspective was just, Kelly and I, like many of us, are, type A overachievers and wanting to be the best we could at marketing, writing our blog, being active on social media, serving those that were already our customers. And I think just kind of the realizing that we couldn't just be experts from day one on all of these different, very new to us pieces of business was definitely a challenge. And I know we've talked about this before, but when you work kind of in a job and you're working for a company, they take care of all these things for you. You don't have to worry about marketing. You don't have to worry about legal protection. You don't have to worry about bookkeeping. You kind of have your role that you do, and you probably do a lot in that role, but you don't have to worry about all these other things. So now that you have your own business, I think that was our biggest challenge, was just kind of realizing that we are really, really good at helping people protect their businesses, getting their legal documents done. But we had never done marketing. We had never, had to do all the things we do now, sales that we do, running a website. All of these things were really hard for us to kind of realize we weren't going to be able to, do it perfectly from day one, and had to be kind of okay with the learning process.
You are just like every one of us, right? Because when we come up with a product or a service, and an entrepreneur is so like, oh my goodness, we're so excited about the service that is going to help a lot of people. And then it's like, where I'm coming from, there was a department in charge of marketing, another department in charge of training, another department for customer service. And then you are like, I have to be all. I'm in charge of customer service. I'm in charge of this. And then you are overwhelmed, So yeah, we all feel that. So as in your company, legal Dotted Lines, that's the name of your company, Dotted Lines. When entrepreneurs come to you, what are some common legal challenges that they bring to you, and how do you address them?
Yeah, so before we kind of dive into the substance, I'll kind of give my disclaimer that I give anytime we do a presentation or a podcast, is that nothing we kind of do through Dotted Lines is legal advice. We don't form kind of one-on-one attorney-client relationships. So everything we do here is to help you become more educated in these legal topics. So we always do recommend that people speak with their own personal attorney if they have any specific legal questions for their business. But we love, educating through a podcast and through, different things we do at Dotted Line. So kind of the first question we get a lot, especially in this industry of online coaching and in just dealing with online entrepreneurs, is kind of scope of practice, or kind of what am I able to do as an online entrepreneur? I think a lot of people have questions, no matter whether you are someone who works to try to help coaching people on their careers. I know you do a lot of that type of work, Bunmi, or have in the past, or you are someone who tries to help them with their, money mindset, perhaps, or financial planning, or you are like a more traditional kind of health and wellness coach. We get a lot of questions on kind of what can I do as an online entrepreneur, any things I need to make sure I don't do. And so kind of that's a huge question. And when it comes to scope of practice, we always like to kind of make sure that people are aware of there are some different defined scope of practice that you can find through your state laws. So definitely, if you are, helping anyone when it comes to coaching them related to their money, or relating to, perhaps something that could be construed as like accounting advice, you always want to make sure that you, are giving the appropriate disclaimers, that you are not, a licensed financial advisor, or even if you are, want to make sure that you're not giving financial advice to people outside your state that you wouldn't be otherwise, able to do if you weren't working online. that you're not giving any kind of professional legal advice or accounting advice. A lot of times people, if you're a coach or someone who works with others in their business, you may kind of touch on these things and may even fall into kind of like legal knowledge or financial planning. So you want to make sure you're giving those appropriate disclaimers to people so that they know that how they should be using your information. And then that definitely applies when it comes to the health and wellness crowd too. They're, want to make sure you are not obviously providing medical advice, all of those kinds of things. So there's a lot of very specific disclaimer language that you need in your legal documents that can help you kind of overcome this. But then, as a kind of CEO of your business, this is a big one we like to just educate people on so that they know things that they should and shouldn't be saying when it comes to, working with their clients. But luckily, kind of having that knowledge in place can get people a long way and just help them feel more confident that they are doing something that they are permitted to do and that is totally okay with their state laws. And then just kind of another question we get often is just kind of like where to even start whenever you're, getting into business, right? And so I know we have a lot of people too that are just wondering, where can they even find help that understands kind of online entrepreneurs is a very different industry, especially the coaches is a very kind of niche industry. And there aren't a lot of attorneys necessarily that, work regularly with these type of entrepreneurs. And so this is where something that legal templates, like kind of the ones we sell at Dotted Lines, can definitely be very, very helpful because they are drafted specifically for online entrepreneurs, online coaches, and kind of come from us as those who understand that industry can be really helpful because a lot of times, if you go to an attorney, they may not be familiar with your industry. You may have to do a lot of educating them about here's what I do or here's what I offer. And so that can be really helpful to get a template, which is much more cost effective. And then if you have, specific questions, taking that to your attorney and they can kind of use that as a starting point to make any necessary tweaks for your business. So another one we get a lot is kind of when should I get legally protected? Is it, is this something that I should do from day one or should I do it later down the road? And so this is one where we like to kind of remind people that legal protection does not kind of extend to things you've done in the past. So generally speaking, past clients you worked with or, past contracts you've entered into, general legal protection is not going to kind of protect you and things you've done before. But as long as you plan on operating your business for a long time, which I'm sure is all of you who are listening to this podcast, it always makes sense to go ahead and get your legal protection in place. But we do see a lot of people kind of spin their wheels on this and spend a lot of kind of brain space thinking about, is this the right time or should I wait until I've hit this amount of revenue or worked with this many clients? And that kind of takes up a lot of, I think, kind of causes a lot of lack of confidence during that first growing period because you may subconsciously, not take your business as seriously as you would or not feel as confident as you would if you had kind of that legal protection to have your back, so to speak, even when you're first starting up your business.
Look, what you just said, I mean, you said some things that I wrote down. Thinking about somebody that knows, that has a product, has a service, and you are so excited. But again, you are not confident because you don't know what you need. You don't know if you are allowed to do or how much of this you can do, how far you can go because you don't know the law of the land. And if you work online, you don't know what this state allows you to do versus if you have a client in another state, you are not sure how much you need to do. That can really dampen the spirit, dampen the excitement that an entrepreneur really has. So you're talking about, the knowledge that Dotted Line has, the templates, the understanding the topography, of the online entrepreneur will really help you help the coaches navigate or the online entrepreneur navigate that space, because if one doesn't know, how much business can you do if you really don't know? But I have a question here. So you are talking about if you have had if you didn't have a legal protection for some clients that you've had before. But my question is, can one go back to redo with the clients that you didn't have before?
Yeah. So we have some of our clients at Dotted Lines, what they'll do is if they have a client they've worked with in the past, and now they're coming back to them to do another set of sessions or do some additional work, at that time, they'll kind of re-sign the contracts with them. So it kind of depends, it might be hard just logistically to go back to a client that you have, had in the past that you haven't worked with in a while to get them to kind of sign a new contract. So it just kind of depends on personal preference on that one.
Okay. So you can resign what they already done, but if they come back for another contract, for another job, then you have your documents in place at that point. So for those of you listening to us, it's not too late. If you started your business 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last week, and you didn't have your legal documents in place, you can, from today, as you are listening, you can take advantage of this and speak with Dotted Lines, and then ask for what kind of legal protection do you need, and then you can start having your stuff in place, your legal protection in place. You can have conversation with Kristin and Kelly and their team, and they can listen to you and figure out what you need so that you can be protected. So we also know that contracts are more than just legal documents. They are really powerful tools that can protect a business and relationships. So contract in business, what are the benefits of using contracts in business?
Yeah, so I love this question because I think this is one that, online entrepreneurs, we know we need them, but we don't really know exactly why, other than, just trying to protect yourself legally. But there are a lot more things than even legal protections that your contracts can do for you. So I love this question, but kind of the first thing that contracts generally can do is aligning your expectations between yourself and your clients or your customers. So this is really, really important because, in your contract, you want to very carefully describe what services you're providing. If it's a product, you're going to be describing about the product in your contract. And this can really reduce your risk of being sued in the first place, which is fantastic because your clients or your customers are going to know exactly what it is that they're getting when they work with you. And so a lot of times legal disputes will come up because they thought they were going to get one thing and you thought you were going to be providing another. And there's just kind of a misalignment of expectations between the two parties. And so that is one fantastic thing that contracts can do, is just aligning those expectations between the two parties, just to make sure that you're kind of setting your relationship off on the best possible foot. And also we love it because, your first kind of impression, usually you're making with your clients or your customers when they decide to work with you, is giving them a legal contract to sign. And so, having a really professionally drafted legal contract can also show them that you really care about your business. You take it seriously. You may want to make sure you've taken the time to make sure they understand everything they're getting. And so it can really just help kind of set the relationship off on the right foot too. Another thing that contracts can do, which is just incredible for your business, is you can limit your liability to your customers and your clients in your contract, generally speaking. So there's very specific language that needs to be in your contract, and even things that need to be capitalized, right, when it comes to limiting your liability. But what this can do is allow you to plan for in the future if there was something to come up between you and your client in regards to your relationship. If there was a dispute, you can agree in advance to what kind of that liability would be in your contract. So this is fantastic because obviously gives you a lot of peace of mind as a business owner, and also lets you kind of plan for the future so that you know, how much money should I generally be keeping in my business bank account to kind of plan for these potential liabilities. So being able to limit your liability is huge. Obviously, getting paid is important to everyone who's an online entrepreneur, right? And if there were ever to be a dispute about payment, the very first thing that an attorney would ask you, or that a court would ask, is where is your contract, right? So you want to make sure that your contract very specifically sets out kind of the payment terms, and even specific things like, can you send them to collections if need be? So having that really clear payment terms in your contract is obviously huge. And then, like you mentioned kind of at the beginning of the podcast, it can also allow you some places to really protect your intellectual property. So as online entrepreneurs, I think we are all concerned with, having our content stolen, or someone joining a program we have and stealing, all of the hard work we put into a course or some sort of online resource. And that's definitely a very valid concern. But one thing you can do in your contracts is really limit how you want people to be able to use that content. So, providing that they only have a limited license to use that content for personal purposes. They can't, take it and resell it or redistribute it or use it for their own commercial purposes. If you have some sort of online program, you can also specifically prohibit password sharing, things like that. So it can really do a lot to help you have that in writing, so that if you are aware of this coming up, you can point back to the contract provision and say, hey, you agreed to, to not redistribute, or reshare this. So it can really just give people a lot of confidence that they're protected. And then, like we've talked about before, that can go a long way for entrepreneurs, because we all know starting your own business can be a little scary, but making sure you feel really confident and kind of secure in what you're doing, that your products and your hard work is going to be protected, can really go a long way for people.
Wow. Look, peace of mind. We see all these disclaimers, and, we read and we see these disclaimers and all that. And it's just, and we just don't think they're anything when we see them. But they are really calculated, they are real, and they're calculated. And even I've bought some programs, and they are there, use limited use of content and all that. So they are really very important that they are put there, because if they are not, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you can, if there's a court case or something, that's what they will ask you. Where is the contract? And if you don't have a contract, you can lose all your hard work. And I know we are all, we love what we do. Many of us, it has taken years of sweat, years of writing, years of hard work, imagine all the years that it has taken you to come up with your program, with everything. It's time for you to protect those. It's time for you to really protect what you have worked so hard to come up with. And really putting proper disclaimers. I was writing some of those things, not giving medical advice to people, because at times you so love, people that are into coaching, people that are into maybe coaching, health coaching and all that. and they love some products and all that. There's a fine line in saying, oh, it can cure this. No, there's some things you cannot say. It does not cure, So all those words, all those things, very important. I really want to thank you, Kristin. I really want to thank you for sharing this with us. The important thing is not to scare anybody, but to boost your confidence, to boost, to let you know that you can do you can bring out your product, your services. As an entrepreneur, you can really do what you want to do, but we really want you to be smart, right, Kristin?
Right. Mm-hmm.
We want you to be smart. That is why Kristin and Kelly, that's why they have dotted lines, so that they can partner with you and you can be smart. So what is your call to action for our listeners today?
Yeah. So if you're looking to get more information on kind of what you might think of in terms of legal protections when you're starting up your business, or maybe you have been in business in a long time and just want to make sure that you kind of have everything in place that you may need, you can head to our website. And I know Bunmi is going to link this in the show notes as well. But our website is dottedlinesco.com. And at the very top, you'll see a little banner where you can download our Legally Ready guide. So really, it's kind of our top 15 steps for entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs, to kind of feel like their business is legally ready. So we'll talk a lot about some of the things we talked about today, but a lot more about like specific website protections, and even things if you're just getting started, want to learn more about LLC formation or setting up your business bank account, all different kinds of things. We talk about them at length in that guide. So I think that'd be a great place for you guys to head if you're looking for more information. And then if you ever have any questions, we're always happy to help. Our email address, you can always send us an email, is support@dottedlinesco.com. And we love to do kind of discovery calls if you have questions about our offerings. But I think that guide is a great place for people to start if they are just looking for some more information.
Okay, so give me that guide again. Is it legally? Did you say legally?
Yeah, so Legally Ready guide. So it's our top 15 steps kind of for online entrepreneurs to feel like their business is legally ready, legally good to go.
So when they go to dottedlinesco.com, they can download Legally Ready guide.
Yes.
Okay. So when you download that, go through the resource and then see what you need. And you can schedule a time with them and let them walk you through some of the things. And if you are already doing some things, but you are not sure, run it through them and see what advice they will give you. And maybe they have some of the resources that you will need, so that your business, you have a legal peace of mind. Remember the questions I asked at the beginning? Let me go back to those questions. I asked, have you safeguarded your business against potential lawsuits from dissatisfied customers? Do you have contracts do your contracts protect you from potential legal battles and disputes? Are you aware of the legal requirements for online entrepreneurs? So as you are looking at those resources, Legally Ready guide, think about some of the things that you might need for your business. Kristin, I really want to thank you again. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us, ensuring our legal peace of mind, which is crucial for our business successes. Thank you again. And I cannot wait to have you and Kelly, I said it, to everybody now. I'm hoping to have Kristin and Kelly really come back and talk about their partnership. Really very important. So thank you, Kristin. I appreciate you for coming.
Thank you so much, Bunmi. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to coming back. So very much enjoy it.
Thank you. So remember that comprehensive legal protections can help you navigate the complex legal landscape, giving you the confidence to focus on your business. Please share this podcast, and we'll see you in our next episode. Thank you for tuning in to Create Your Own Economy with Bunmi Ajibade. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you are considering starting your own side hustle, I invite you to take our free assessment test to discover your readiness. Go to www.clarolgr.com/checklist. And if you need a personalized guidance for your business, contact me directly for a free strategy session. Let's work together to turn your vision into reality and chart your path to success. Go to www.clarolgr.com/MEET. Remember to subscribe, write reviews, and share this podcast with others ready to create their own economies.